Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, so this channel is all about, for those of you who are new to this channel is all about like improving yourself, making yourself better. Basically shit that your dad should have taught you, right? And I cover a lot of topics right now. What I've been really covering is relationships and bettering yourself and things like that, really focusing on those aspects of your life. And then, what I'd like to get into later on, maybe, what I mean, is talking about, friendships, more on friendships. I have a lot of experience with friendships. And then career advice, right? Schooling, that sort of thing. So we'll talk more about a lot of that stuff right now. But usually what comes up are, things that come into my head through my own experiences, right? And what's going on right now, it's kind of interesting, right? I'm hearing about this loneliness epidemic, right? That most guys out there are lonely. And the reason why I started this channel, really, let me back up a little bit. The reason why I started this channel is because, I grew up and my dad never really taught me any of this shit. He never really, I always had an internal fight with myself, right? I always had, I always, I talk a little bit in my previous videos about the red pill and the blue pill, right? I've always been internally red pillish, right? But then the world has really made me kind of, and I never felt comfortable about it, right? Going the blue pill direction, right? So it's always felt odd, and I've always had this internal fight. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll get into a relationship, almost get married a couple times, 3 times actually, and I didn't feel right about it. You know what I mean? So my intuition kicked in. Boom, it was red pillish. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about the normal, like the. I'm talking about the fundamentals of red pill. So I want to make that really clear in this channel because red pill has, it's gotten a really bad rap, and I don't know what else you call it. I red pill really resonates with me. The fundamentals of it, right? I mean, it's red pill has really turned a lot in the last 10 years. And it's, gotten more black pill, if you will, right? Where people are all pissed off, men are mad at women and they hate women and that sort of thing. And that's not the way it should be, guys. It really shouldn't. You know what I mean? Red pill is about improving yourself. It's about making yourself better so that you're the better option, in the world, really, right? You're a better option to women. You're a better option to, jobs. You're a better option to pretty much everything, friendships, relationships, family, all that sort of thing. It's about bettering yourself, making yourself 100% better, right? And becoming the man that you really want to be. It's about building that confidence. And that's the reason why. I went through my entire life until I found the red pill, the fundamentals of the red pill, again, mind you, okay? And I went through my entire life trying to figure it out. And that's why I'm here, because I want to help you figure it out so that you don't go through life wondering like I did, right? And didn't have any direction. I'm trying to help you with that early on, right? Because it's painful. It's really painful, I want you guys to understand why things are happening to you, right? So what I've been hearing about lately is this loneliness epidemic, right? Is this, guys are lonely. And, I have a friend, it's really interesting, right? The guy always has to be in a relationship. Always. He's my old roommate. I wish him the best always, you know what I mean? But he's just one of them guys that, got jumped from relationship to relationship. As a matter of fact, the way he did that was he cheated on his previous relationship. That's never a good thing, right? Because karma's a bitch. Well, the guy just cannot be by himself, and what I noticed about this guy, I'm no psychologist or nothing, right? But I noticed that the chicks that he would, have sex with, and who were the best in bed, or who turned his fucking eyelids upside down, you know what I mean? Those are the ones that he would pick, you know what I mean? Instead of focusing on, the characteristics that you want in a partner, right? And what's funny about it is that, a lot of my friends would give me shit. They'd give me shit because I'm so fucking picky, right? But the reason why I'm picky is because getting married and having a relationship is probably the single most important decision you're ever going to make in your life. So why the fuck? And a lot of these guys, they just say, fuck it. They get into the relationship because they don't think they can get anything better. Well, that's what I'm here to tell you guys. You can get something better, but you got to make yourself better, right? You got to max out whatever you got. I'm serious, right? That's what I did. You know what I mean? I maxed out everything that I had. I got in great shape. I'm 50 years old, right? For those of you who don't know, I'm 50 fucking years old, right? I don't think I look 50. And a lot of people tell me that I don't look 50, right? I still have all my hair, right? I'm doing pretty good. You know what I mean? So what I did, I was about 192. I was hovering over 200 pounds, right? And I said, you know what? Fuck this, man. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna get in really good shape. I'm gonna work my fucking ass off. So I spent 2 years at working my ass off, getting in shape because I just thought I didn't feel good. You know what I mean? I didn't like the way I feel, so I got shredded. Maxed out my shit. Right? I always was really focused on my career, and I think that's where I went wrong, right? I was so focused on my career that I didn't eat right, I didn't do the right things. And plus, I didn't know, you know what I mean? So I hired a physique coach. He taught me everything I know. Now I'm eating, doing the right things. I'm 90-10, meaning 90% whole foods, 10%, highly processed foods, things of that nature. And you know what? I feel fantastic. I feel really good. I weightlift every single day. Well, actually 4 days out of the week. And then, but I walk every single day, 7,000 steps, and that sort of thing. So, I'll talk a little bit about fitness and, more about that. If you guys want to hear about that, drop comments in the comment section. But the thing is that you really have to kind of maximize what you have, right? If you're bald and you're balding and you have no hair, just shave that shit off, man. Go Jason Statham. You know what I mean? But work out, get in the gym, hire a physique coach, get better. You know what I mean? If you don't have the best job in the world, figure out how to do that. Become an entrepreneur. Do whatever you need to do, right? That's what I did, man. I maxed out every single part of my life. I got in the best shape that I can. I take really, really ridiculously good care of myself. I try to, at least. I bought a home. I went through a divorce, not too long ago, and I bought a home, and just taking care of myself financially. You know what I mean? I do well financially, so I'm really thinking about retirement at this point in my life, but I still enjoy what I do. So I'm really trying to position myself at work to put myself in a value added. That's kind of what you have to do. You know what I mean? When you get into a situation, you always have to add value to the company, right? In one way or another, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. Now, as I'm getting into my retirement years, what I'm trying to do is really add value to the company to the point where they can't let me go. And then you have leverage, right? You can do whatever you need to do. Like I've done so well in my career where I'm at, right? I work for a government contractor, and they've let me work 4/10s. You know what I mean? Instead of working 5 days a week. So now I work Monday through Thursday, and then I get Friday and the weekends off. So, but that's leverage. That's having leverage because you do so well and you do so much during the week. I don't need to work that extra Friday. You know what I mean? I can just, stack it up during the week. So I'm trying to position myself to add more value to the point where, if I ever want to come back as a contractor for this particular company or whatever, I can. They'll you know what I mean? That's adding value. So that's the thing that I'm talking about, right? In the world, you have to add value to the world. If you're going to go out and date, you got to add value to that relationship. If you're going to be in a friendship, you got to add value to that friendship. If you're going to be, interact with your family, you got to add value to your family. If you go out just into the world, to the grocery store, you got to add value. You know what I mean? You got to be a high value male. And a lot of the red pill guys talk about that, right? Being a high value male, and the way these dating apps work, right? Only 1 to 3% of the men out there that are dating, are going to get the high value women, right? You know what I mean? But you got to max out what you have, Me personally, I don't like online dating. I did it for a little while, and it's a complete fucking waste of time for me. I'd rather just sit in my living room and watch paint dry, man. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But you know what? The way I think about it, and my whole thing. So I grew up as an only child, right? I didn't have brothers or sisters. Just kind of grew up on my own. Grew up with a lot of guys around the way. I always grew up with older people. You know what I mean? So they kind of taught me what I needed to know. But they didn't teach me the shit that I'm teaching you guys. You know what I mean? I learned it. I learned it a multitude of different ways, right? And the main, you're gonna laugh at this, right? The main way that I learned it was through rap music. You know what I mean? Like dating. I listened to Ice Cube a lot, and he would talk about a bitch is a bitch, and you know what I mean? And I put that in context for myself because my mom always, taught me that, be very respectable to women and that sort of thing. So, I kind of put all of that information into context for me, and that's kind of what you have to do. You can't take Andrew Tate literally. You know what I mean? Take bits and pieces maybe of what he said, because his early shit has a lot of value, right? Because it's all about bettering yourself. Now the shit that he spews is just bullshit. You know what I mean? But put it in context for you, and that's what you have to do, right? And make yourself better. Make yourself happy. Corey Wayne, the guy that I listen to, that I've always listened to all the time, right? I started listening to him over 10 years ago. And he always says that you should be able to do anything by yourself. You should be able to go to a restaurant. You should be able to go to the movies. You should be able to do anything. You should be the person that you want to hang out with, right? And that totally makes sense. I always thought that was weird, right? But you should be able to hang out with yourself. And I love being with myself. You know what I mean? I love it. I'm cool with it, because I have confidence in myself, right? But I wasn't born this way. Through my entire life, I was always wondering if I'm doing the right thing. Oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I picking the right women? Am I doing the right thing in my job and that sort of thing? Luckily, I've had mentors in my career, right, who taught me which direction to go into, right? And I picked and choose, pretty much what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I paved my own path, and that's kind of what you have to do in the dating world, with friendships and all that sort of thing. You have to call your own shots. It's incredibly important to do that, and that's part of building confidence in yourself. Like, I have a cousin that I'm helping out, and he's 20 years old. And, you know, I remember at 20 years old, he's a lot more mature than I was at 20. But I remember at 20 years old, I didn't know shit. I didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't know shit, man. And this kid has a lot more experience than I do, you know, with life and just what he wants to do and that sort of thing. But where he's flailing is you know, I even think he has relationships more figured out than I do, right? Than I did it back then. You know, he's in a relationship with a really good girl. And, you know, it seems like their relationship is good. You know, I don't talk to him too much about that relationship. I mean, he has the same issues that most men do. But for the most part, I think it's a really good, rock solid relationship. They enjoy being with each other, you know what I mean? But she's super focused on school. And, you know, he wants to do something else. He doesn't want to go to college. And I told him that's okay. You know, he actually wants to be an underwater welder. And, you know, I didn't know that was a thing, but it's really fucking cool. Like when you look at it, it's really cool, you know. And I told him, I said, no, you know, because you're going to go. The one regret that I have in my entire life, right? I have one regret. That's not going into the Navy to become a Navy SEAL. That's one thing that I always wanted to do. And I just didn't do it because I was afraid. I was an only child. And, you know, I was not afraid to go do it. I wanted to fucking do it. I was excited to do it, right? But, you know, my mom was kind of by herself. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to, you know, when I was going into you know, when I was going in to, you know, that area of my life, right, at that particular time, it was going to be really intense. The risk was high because I was going in Desert Storm, right? So I would have done multiple tours, you know what I mean, in being a SEAL, you know, because those are one of the first guys that go in. You know, I wasn't scared of it by any means. I was really excited to do it, but my mom kept, you know, like, I don't want to lose you, you know what I mean? You're all I have, and blah, 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 you know. So that kind of pulled on the heartstrings a little bit, you know what I mean? And, you know, my family, man, you know what I mean? Family, dude, family, you know, in my Mexican heritage, man, family comes first, right? So I was all set to go, you know what I mean? And then when I was playing football, I fucked up my knee really bad, so they wouldn't have taken me anyway. I was really in a bad way. I had torn ACL, MCL, and all that sort of thing playing football. So, you know, that's a one regret that I have, because, you know, that's something I always wanted to do. But everything else I've done, right? I mean, I became an electrical engineer. I became, you know, I've studied, you know, martial arts, Krav Maga, and you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, I've pretty much done whatever I've wanted to do. You know what I mean? And I've gotten way past my income threshold that I've always wanted to. You know what I mean? So, you know, I've always reached my goals. Every single goal that I've had, you know what I mean? That's one thing that I've always done. So my confidence was really high in a lot of those areas, right? The one place where I struggled was in relationships and friendships, right? Because I always wanted to do the right thing, and I thought doing the right thing was being blue pilled, basically, right? In both friendships and relationships, you know. Now I call my own shots, you know, and I realized this through, you know, the Red Pill community, through Corey Wayne and that sort of thing. I call my own shots. I'm the CEO of my own life. So I call my own shots. I'm 100% fine with being alone. And after my divorce, right, I realized that I I'm sorry, guys. I call it a divorce, and maybe you've seen my earlier videos. I call it a divorce because it's equivalent to a divorce. I was never really married, but it was as painful as a divorce. It was equivalent to the divorce, right? So that's why I call it a divorce, because it's just as traumatic. So after her and I broke up, and I moved out all my shit, I left with nothing. You know, I she was the best thing that I've ever had. She was, I mean, the closest thing to what I would consider a perfect girlfriend, right? Because perfection is unattainable, right? Let's make that really fucking clear, right? But she was perfect for me. I you know I actually loved being with her every single day. I enjoyed waking up to her, going to bed with her, hanging out with her. Anything we did was just a fucking blast. She wasn't a Karen. She wasn't up my ass bugging me about shit. She let me be me. I let her be her. And you know what? We were like peas and carrots, man. Like Forrest Gump, right? It was a great relationship. And after that happened, and it took me 44 fucking years to find her, right? And after that broke up, I mean, I was just like, wow. I went through the signs of grief, right? Right. I got pissed off. I got sad. I got, all these, all the things, the 5 symptoms of grief or whatever. And I went through them. I went through all of them, right? And it's taken me quite a bit of time to get over it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not just one of those people. A lot of people think that I'm one of those people that just kind of moves on, fuck it, whatever. And for the most part, that is true, right? But this relationship was something special. She was just amazing. And I have really nothing to say bad about her to this day. She was just an alcoholic. You know what I mean? And she had dad issues and that sort of thing. And I always wish her the best, to this day. But it is what it is, But I had to succumb to the fact that I might spend the rest of my life alone. And the reason why I did that is because I went out there and I did the online dating. I did, I go out, and I talk to women, when I'm out grocery shopping or whatever the case may be. And they're fucking weird, bro. Like, oh my God. Like, what the fuck is going on? I just want to ask that question. What the fuck is going on with these women? Like, me and my buddy went for happy hour at one of the restaurants here, right? And I was joking around with the women that work with the greeters, right? The people who sit you, you know what I mean? And, I was joking with them. And dude, stoic, man. I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, and I just said, fuck it. You know what I mean? Whatever. And I just went and sat, and me and my buddy were talking about, like, dude, what the fuck, man? And so I asked the kid that was helping us, right? That was our waiter. And I said, dude, what's up with these women, man? They just like have no personality whatsoever. He goes, you know what it is? It's what's called the hookup culture. And I did a video on the hookup culture because I talked about this, right? Particular case. I did a video on the hookup, and dude, the hookup culture is fucked up, right? Because and back in my day, right? And I'm probably dating myself. I mean, it wasn't that long. It didn't seem like that long ago, 20, 30 years ago. It was just like, okay, there'd be casual dating, and then you move, if you liked it, the woman enough, you'd move into, you'd just move into a relationship. You know what I mean? And then it would kind of morph from there. If you didn't like each other, then you'd go your separate ways. It was no big deal. Now, it's like, that's a thing, just hooking up, getting on Tinge or Hinder or whatever the fuck those apps are. You know what I mean? You get on those apps and you just swipe right, swipe left, whatever the fuck. And next thing you know, you're hooking up, you're having sex. And that happened to me a couple times. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with that, but I'm not going to give you my fucking address, man. And I have no fucking idea who you are. At least let's meet for I'm just not doing that, man. I don't have that kind of trust level. You know what I mean? I got too much shit here, and I don't want anybody knowing where the fuck I live, right? So, I mean, there's steps with me. You got to have coffee. You got to talk, get to know each other, that sort of thing. I'm not necessarily looking for a relationship, but I'm looking for somebody I can have at least a conversation with. You know what I mean? And nowadays, women are just so tainted because that's all guys want to do is just hook up. And to be fair, right? I think the women just want to hook up too. You know what I mean? They just want a part-time thing too. You know what I mean? So it's kind of soured the whole dating situation is what this kid told me. And that's sad. You know what I mean? Because I didn't take that shit personal. See, and that's the thing about this whole loneliness epidemic, right? Is, the hookup culture contributed to this. The whole world has changed. Now there's Instagram, Facebook, all this kind of shit. You can meet people, miles and miles away across the earth or whatever. And there's an abundance of shit out there, right? There really is. You know what I mean? So you can go out and just find somebody just randomly somewhere in the world. And that's cool. I mean, it's cool, but it's not cool either. You know what I mean? Because the more abundance, right, the less you give the person that's right next to you the chance. You know what I mean? So, I've made myself a 1% man because, I've maxed out my income. I've maxed out, my body. I don't look my age. I've done everything. I have a house. I have a career. I have everything that you need to be a substantial man, right? And I'm not a bug, right? I'm not a bugaboo, right? They used to call it bugaboo, right? Where you're constantly bugging women. I don't do that, right? In fact, women get mad at me because I don't text them enough. Dude, you know what? I'll see you on the weekend. I'm busy during the week. Fuck, you know what I mean? I don't have time for, mediocre text. Oh, how you doing? What are you eating? Fuck that shit, dude. I don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? How was your day? I had a great day. Fuck, dude. You know what I mean? Shit. Let's just call it that. Every day's a great day. Fuck that, dude. You know what I mean? Like, let's move on. I'll see you on the weekend, man. I don't need that level. You know what I mean? And that's the blue pill shit that I was talking about, right? Is that blue pill males will constantly text me, oh, are you thinking of me? Are you doing this? I don't give a flying fuck if you're thinking about me, man. You know what I mean? God, honestly, if you do the complete opposite of what you think you need to do, the more they're going to think about you. So, me not texting, the girls get mad because I don't text, but they're thinking about me. You know what I mean? They may get mad, but whatever, you know what I mean? That it is what it is, I just, I believe in taking shit slow, getting to know each other. You guys, I work on the weekend. I'm on the week. I'm extremely busy, and then I can spend the weekend with you, or a day on the weekend with you, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And that's where we catch up. That's why we have. If you're always texting each other, then you have nothing to talk about on the weekends. You know what I mean? So, and then if she breaks because you're not texting her. Fuck, there's a new bus every 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So the point of this video, right? And I really want to I talked about a lot of stuff, right? But the main point of this video, right, the takeaway is you want to maximize your life. You want to become a better man, right? Work on your income, work on, you being able to, go to the grocery store, to the movies, to whatever by yourself and just have a blast by yourself. You know what I mean? And you're going to put out that vibe, right? If everything's in line, right? You got a great career, you look good, You know, you've taken really good care of yourself. You're in great shape. You have a great personality. All that stuff is going to take care of itself, and then go out in the world and put that vibe out there. You're going to get nothing but positivity, man. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to do. You have to be happy with yourself. You got to be able to wake up every single day, look in the mirror, and say, I love that fucking guy. You know what I mean? And max out your shit. And then when you go out into the world and you talk to a woman and she doesn't reciprocate, that's her loss, man. You know what I mean? Because you're a 1% guy. It's her loss for not recognizing that, you know? And then, you know, if you do get a woman that bites, play it cool, man. Just enjoy your time with her. You know what I mean? And make her laugh. You know, all you want to do on a date or or you know, when you're dating somebody or in a relationship, you just want to put that positive vibe out there. You know, nobody wants to listen to your bullshit about work or about, you know, your past relationships or nothing like that. Nobody cares, right? If you need to talk about that shit, go to a fucking therapist, right? But, you know, don't put all that bullshit out there, right? Just go out on the date, have a good time, enjoy yourself, and that's it. Leave her at that night on a positive note, and you will get positivity back. I'm telling you right now. That goes with friendships. That goes with, you know, family, everything, right? Everything in your life, even at work, right? Nobody wants to hear about your bullshit. Go to a fucking therapist, deal with it, and make yourself a better person. And you know what? If you can be by yourself and you're okay with being by yourself, then that's half the battle, man. You know what I mean? Because dating is not like it used to be. It's not, you know, chances are, you know, the divorce rate is 56%, right? So there's a really good chance that if you do find somebody, you're probably going to get divorced. You know what I mean? And if somebody said that there's a 56% chance that your parachute doesn't open when you jump out of this plane, I'm not jumping out of the plane. You know what I'm saying? So put that on the back burner. You know, if it happens, great. No big deal. But just go out to have a good time, to enjoy yourself, to do the things that you want to do, and take her along for the ride, man. That's all you do. You know? And I guarantee you, and if she leaves, then you know what? That's her problem. You know, she lost out. It's no big deal. Like I asked out a girl the other day, and she, you know, she wasn't wearing a ring. I always check for that, you know, I make sure, you know. So I said, what are you doing this weekend? You know, you want to grab a drink or something? And she goes, oh, you know what? I'm married. And then, you know, I just joked to her. I said, oh, you fooled me, man. Didn't wear the ring and stuff, you know. I said, hey, no, it was nice meeting you, you know. You got a cool personality. And then I just took off. It's no big deal. There's a new bus every 15 minutes. You know, don't get mad. Oh, you fucked with me. Oh, you're a bitch. No, dude, that's weak shit, man. That's a bitch mentality, man. You know what I mean? And you guys who are doing that out there, man, I'm here to tell you that you're fucking it up for the rest of us, man. So don't fucking do that, man. That's one of the reasons. It's not just the hookup culture. It's guys like that, you know, guys like Andrew Tate and that sort of thing that talk bad about women and that sort of thing. No, you don't do that, man. You know what I mean? Treat everybody with respect and you're going to get it back. You don't treat everybody with respect, then you don't fucking deserve it. You know what I mean? So the main takeaway is make yourself a better person. Be able to hang out with yourself. Do things that you like to do. And max out your shit, man. You know what I mean? Become a 1% man. And you're going to, and put that positive vibe out there, man. And I guarantee you won't be lonely, man. You know what I mean? But the number one thing is that you got to be able to hang out by yourself. And that's the problem that I see with a lot of people, like my friend. You know, he doesn't know how to hang out by himself. He doesn't know how to be by himself. You know, every time we were hanging out, and he didn't have a girlfriend. He was always looking for a girlfriend, and, unfortunately nowadays he's going to have a pretty rude awakening, and I'm pretty fucking picky. I'm looking for somebody who has some shit going on, you know what I mean? Who's a 1% woman, you know what I mean? And where I live, that's especially where I physically live in this area, right? I live in a higher income type area, right? So it's extremely difficult to find people. I mean, to, find somebody that, I may be compatible with, And then the other part of it is too, the other challenge that I've had to deal with is that, I'm 50 years old, you know what I mean? People in my age range, right? 30, I would say 35 and above, there's a lot of fucking baggage out there, man. So really, at my age, it's about risk mitigation. You know what I mean? Going out there and dating and finding the women with the least amount of risk moving forward. Because, dating in my 40s was a challenge because I always met good looking women. They got 2-3 kids or whatever. And they got crazy ex-husbands that are all pissed off because they left. And they blame me for it. I was nowhere near that divorce cycle. And they blame me for it. You know what I mean? But they're all pissed off because they're not 1% man. They're not a 1% man, and I am. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of jealousy in the world. But you know what? It's all good, bro. You know what I mean? Be jealous. Hey, jealousy is a form of flattery. Just think of it that way. You know what I mean? So become a better man. Take care of your shit. And go out there and put positivity in the world. And I guarantee you won't be lonely anymore. All right? Hopefully that helped. Have a good day. We'll talk to you next time. Later.